What was the best moment you've seen where the real world hit a spoiled rich kid? I went to a public high school in a pretty average town, but there were always a few kids whose families had money, real money. Not just a big house or 2 cars, but the kind where their parents owned companies or had trust funds set up before they could even walk. One of those kids was Brandon. His dad owned some regional chain of dental offices, and his mom didn't work, but volunteered at charity galas in full designer getup. Brandon got whatever he wanted: new clothes every semester, the latest tech, expensive sneakers he didn't even wear, just kept them on shelves like trophies. When we graduated, his parents gave him a brand new BMW 3 Series as a graduation present. Everyone watched him drive off to college like he was about to star in some Netflix show. The thing is, Brandon never really understood limits. In high school, he barely did the work and still passed because his mom would make donations to the booster club or show up to complain until the teachers gave in. He wasn't dumb, just lazy. Once he got to college, out of state, expensive private school, he went completely off the rails. From what I heard from mutual friends, Brandon partied every single night, not just weekend stuff. Monday through Sunday, frat parties, bar crawls, after-hours spots. Skipped class constantly. He'd send Snapchats of him pouring vodka into his cereal as a joke, except it wasn't really a joke. He blew through his meal plan in the first month and just started ordering delivery or eating out every day. It looked like he was living the dream. His parents, of course, didn't know any of this. Brandon kept sending them smiling selfies on campus, talked about how challenging his classes were, posted photos in the library with captioned emojis like he was really grinding. Meanwhile, his GPA was circling the drain, and he'd been warned by the administration twice that he was on academic probation. Then came the turning point. One Saturday morning around 6:30 a.m., while he was passed out drunk on his dorm room floor, his parents showed up unannounced. They'd driven overnight, about a 5-hour trip, because they'd gotten the midterm progress reports and finally saw the truth. Not only was Brandon failing 4 out of 5 classes, he'd missed over half his lectures and hadn't turned in several major assignments. They didn't text or call. They just showed up with the spare key to his BMW. His roommate, who had just gotten back from an early jog, let them in. They walked right past Brandon still unconscious, stepped over the empty bottles and dirty laundry, grabbed the car keys off the desk, and left. It took Brandon until almost noon to realize anything had happened. He walked out of the dorm in socks, still rubbing his eyes, staring at the empty parking spot like someone had stolen it. His first instinct was to call the cops, but his phone had a missed call from his mom. He listened to the voicemail, and apparently she said something like, "If you're not going to take college seriously, you don't need a luxury car to drive yourself into failure." The fallout was nuclear. He tried calling them dozens of times. Nothing. They cut off his gas card. His meal stipend got slashed. Credit card privileges were frozen. Suddenly, Brandon went from being the guy who always offered to cover dinner to the guy asking if he could Venmo you back next week. The BMW wasn't even sold. His dad gave it to one of his dental hygienists who'd been saving for a car. Brandon ended up walking or bumming rides for the rest of the semester. He didn't drop out, though. He stuck it out, worked at a coffee shop near campus the next semester, took fewer classes, and actually passed them. No more Instagram stories of champagne bottles or all-nighters at the club, just quiet. Last I saw of him, he was driving a 2004 Corolla and majoring in business. Said he was learning how money works.